What is your zone of genius, and why does it matter for you to uncover what it is? First of all, let's define what is a zone of genius. It's one particular activity or one way how you do a particular activity that your market places a very, very high value on and where you are much better than your competitors. And this is important in many ways. It can help you define your own USP, your unique selling proposition. It can help you figure out what you should do content about. And also it can be a source of scaling. Where from your done-for-you service can you, or what in your done-for-you service can you use to scale in the format of courses and group coaching programs? So for all of that, knowing your zone of genius is very important. And how do you know about your zone of genius, what it is? Well, it's very tempting to actually try to meditate on it and figuring out yourself, right? It's like, what have I done that is really added value to my market? It's risky. It's much better to actually go and ask your market. And there's two ways you can ask your market. One is the direct route, where you just speak to one of your clients and say, listen, I would love to know where in particular I added a particular amount of value to you and where you thought that I did a particularly great job, like anywhere where I went above your expectations. That is fine, and you should listen cautiously to it, because it could happen that your clients give you a false flag. Not maliciously, but because if they don't come up with something immediately, they may just tell you something to make you happy. And that could be a false flag. So a much better way to listen to your market is by listen to spontaneous, unsolicited feedback that you get from them. Where in your conversations with you do they go like, wow, that's great, that's awesome. Or you submit something to them and they just accept it, no suggestions for improvement added. Okay, so those are great sources of insight where your zone of genius is. And just to give you an example, one of my zones of genius that I've uncovered in the last few months, even weeks, is the work of strategy and positioning. I've now had 2 clients who told me that in our first 2 sessions of working together, where we, talked about their positioning and their strategy, they already got their money's worth. And that is considerable because I charge quite a lot because my program is set up for a whole year. So they got their money's worth already in the first 2 sessions with me. And that is amazing. That is also getting reinforced to me in many of my positioning calls with my other clients, because I keep seeing these kind of lights coming up. When we discuss their positioning, they just go, oh, great. Now I finally figured out what I want to do and how exactly to position my service. So to be honest with you, I hadn't expected that at all. I always thought my USP, my zone of genius, would be in discipline, getting things done, tracking things, being very methodical, and so on. And while that is important, and I think I'm also better than my competitors at that, I think that this is an area that I will double down in, because positioning and strategy work is so foundational, and my clients place such a large amount of value on it, and they tell me that I'm so good at it. You can expect a lot more content in this area from me in the next few weeks. So go ahead and look for your zone of genius. It's going to be worth it.